Broadcasting from the KC Coyote Studios, you're listening to Kearney Live on 102.7 KPGZ. Kearney Live is presented by Kearney Trust Company. Kearney Trust, 310 West 92 Highway in Kearney. The phone number is 816-628-6666. And now here's the hosts of Kearney Live, Mike Davis and Jim Dickerson.
And welcome to Kearney Live. Thank you. Thank you. That's the live studio audience here, 102.7 FM. And, I'll tell you what, those people up there, they're here. They seem to see the same crowd every week. I wonder if those folks actually have jobs. You know what I mean? The one guy up there that keeps throwing popcorn at us. I do know
that they show up hours ahead of time just to get in here because we only have a limited number of seats, and they show up early because they make sure they want to get a seat.
They empty out our refrigerator, and they drank all the coffee. I mean,
that's true. So how was your Thanksgiving, Mike?
Terrific, and
Good.
Thank you for asking. And it just seems that you go from, you flip a switch after Thanksgiving and you jump into Christmas. And I will say that you are listening to Kearney Live, and this is a show, Jim, that will not ask you, have you finished your Christmas shopping yet?
So let me ask you this, Mike. Have you finished your Christmas shopping yet?
See what I mean? That puts a lot of pressure on a guy like me because, I'm reminded that there are precious few shopping days remaining.
Well, here's something that someone said earlier today that it kind of struck me. Do you realize that we are to the point where it's just about 2 weeks left in the decade?
Well, that's
2 weeks left in the decade.
That's monumental.
So that kind of brings you back. So what were you doing? Let's go back. What were you doing in 2000?
In the year 2010.
2010.
All right. I think we're sort of stumbling through life about the same thing I'm doing right now.
Really no change in 10 years for Mike Davis. That's awesome.
Right.
Well done. I like it. I like it a lot.
I'm sure that I did want to mention, too,
I'm not going to ask questions that are any harder than that because clearly you had a lot of trouble with that one.
Indeed. Just go easy on me, Jim. What people need to know, what really matters today, is we have Jay Bettis in studio with us, and we're going to get to him in just a minute. But, if you don't know Jay Bettis, then you've been living under a rock or something, because he's been around he was with the city of Kearney for 41 years. And a lot of our listeners, I would think many of our listeners aren't even 41 years old. So think about that for a minute. Although I think maybe, I'm not sure, but I might be older than Jay. I don't know, but I think the last time we checked, was it maybe? Yeah.
We won't go into that.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, good grief.
But before we get to him, for those of you who don't know, we've had some, I guess you could say, breaking news here in the Kearney area. What are you working on there, Brian? Got the wrong camera on. That's why.
Keep rolling, Jim.
Poor Mike sitting there.
Keep rolling.
For those of you in the studio or in the TV world. But anyway, we had some news out of the Kearney School District this morning. They've announced that there is a new superintendent who's going to replace Dr. Nicely. And that he was very nice.
Indeed.
And he's still around, and he's going into retirement. Congratulations to him. But he leaves on July 1st of 2020. And then replacing him is going to be Matthew Miller, is what they're telling us, and he is from Moberly, and he got the job. They just announced that, so if you're looking for updates, you can check our Facebook page. We've got some information on it. And then he is from Moberly, and he and his wife are going to be moving down here. I can't remember how old his kids were, but anyway, they'll be moving down here, and supposedly here July 1st. So congratulations to him. And then also...
Well, I just want to mention, just for a minute, think about... a school superintendent being able to come to Kearney, Missouri, from Moberly, which is a fine little town just east of here. I can't imagine that family isn't really, really excited because they know. I mean, this is a destination. There are a lot of superintendents that would probably have had their eye on that position. So, welcome to Kearney and congratulations.
Not only that, but it is a big undertaking because, the Kearney School District is very well known throughout the state and throughout the region. So those are some big shoes to fill. And Dr. Nicely did a great job, did a lot of things, got a lot of things done here in Kearney. So
good friend of the show, no doubt.
Yep. It's going to be, and I'm sure we'll have him on before he goes, and he'll have a big retirement party. Speaking of retirement parties, our guest today probably have a retirement party. If I ever have a retirement party, I hope somebody shows up. Would you?
I guess, is there a possibility that nobody would?
There's always that possibility.
There you go. Yeah.
Everybody will sit there and go, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah.
That guy.
The kind of a big deal guy turned out to be, maybe not so much.
He's not so much a big deal. Also, don't forget to join Andy Martin's tomorrow for the Coach Stegman Show. Is that right? Nope. I'm being told nope. So forget I brought it up. But congratulations to the boys basketball team because they won on Friday.
Against Fort Osage.
Right. Good game. That one went down kind of the last minute. So congratulations to the basketball team for that. And stay with us for updates on the Coach Stegman Show.
Hey, Jim, let me ask you this.
Yes, go ahead.
If folks wanted to listen to the basketball game, but they were outside the Kearney city limits, and maybe even in another state, how would they listen to the Kearney basketball game broadcast?
Well, I'm glad you asked. There's a couple of ways they could have done it. Number one, they could have listened to it online at 1027 FM, KearneyMode.com, or you could listen to it on my Tuner radio app. You can listen to that anywhere in the world. And if you missed it live and you're sitting there thinking to myself, oh, I heard that was a good game, go to our website, go to the podcast page, go to Bulldog Radio Network, and you can listen to all the previous basketball games and football games, all the sporting games that we've had.
Over the last 2 years.
Exactly.
Right.
And the next game is, I'm going to go to the executive producer, is Tuesday. And we'll have that game we have that live coverage, don't we? Yep. Tuesday.
There we go.
And we'll have the live coverage on that. Andy Martins will take you through that. They do a great job.
Dan Herman, Andy Martins. Yep.
Those guys do a great job.
They do indeed.
And then also for those of you who are now, if you haven't heard about it, the Shop Local campaign is in full swing. We're in the holiday season now, so you can really take advantage of that. And I'll talk about something when we come back from the Shop Local campaign, but to talk about the Shop Local campaign, as usual, I'll throw it over to Mike Davis. Mike?
Thank you, Jim. You folks, you've listened to me talk about Shop Local over the course of these last, 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks, Brian? Somewhere, he's shaking his head, yes. We worked in partnership with your Kearney Chamber of Commerce to promote Shop Local. Specifically because I think it's not like people didn't understand it, but we needed to build awareness to the fact that there are wonderful stores and very unique shops here in the Kearney area where you just barely have to leave your front doorstep to shop. And as we know, shopping local benefits the community at large, and ultimately it benefits you. Each week we have been posting a video of a select business to get their thoughts about Shop Local, and I believe Brian has said video queued up for the moment. Let's have a look.
Hi everyone, Brian Watts here from 102.7 here in Kearney, Missouri, and on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce and the Shop Local Initiative, I'm here at Kearney Family Chiropractic Center with Dr. Mark Strathman. And Dr. Strathman, would you please tell me in your own words, why is it important for people to shop local?
Well, Brian, being a local business owner, when people have lots of options of places to go, it means a lot to us that people do spend their money here locally in Kearney. Our families, this is part of our livelihood, so it means a lot, and it shows a lot of support in the community. We really appreciate that.
And having said that, would you be willing to take the Shop Local pledge?
Absolutely.
When you shop locally, you support Kearney businesses who in turn help make our community a better place to live, work, and play. Our schools, parks, neighborhoods, and charitable organizations thrive as a byproduct of hard-working local entrepreneurs and people like you who choose to do business with them. Your Kearney Chamber of Commerce encourages you to shop local in Kearney.
This is Dr. Stratton with Kearney Family Chiropractic Center, and I pledge to shop local in Kearney whenever possible.
I took the
pledge.
Indeed, he did. He took the pledge, and I love the way some of these are very spontaneous endings. Brian, I know you've been on set. Jim, you have as well. And it's really fun to see the reactions of some of these shop owners and places. Wonderful place like Dr. Mark Strathman has a terrific chiropractic clinic, voted, 4 years in a row? Best 5 years in a row? Yeah, a ridiculous number of times best in the Northland, and for good reason.
And one of the things about Shop Local, because this just happened in another community, so it's kind of important, but my favorite part is, so there was in another community, I'm not going to use the name, but another one of their businesses has gone out of business, and you had a bunch of people who came out and said, "Oh, I love that place." But then you ask them, when's the last time you went there? Well,
right.
So look, folks, Shop Local, go out and visit these places if you love them, because they will go away. I mean, they depend on your support and your dollars to keep themselves alive. So it's not only just kind of a saying that we thought of or someone thought of. We need to shop local. So go out and support your local businesses. It is the season to do that, and it's also the season where a lot of people are retiring. Bill Nicely's not the only one. Mike, you know what I'm talking about.
Well, I don't happen to be among that list for the moment anyway. So, yeah, but we do have one retiree right here. Jay Bettis, welcome to the show. It is wonderful having you here.
It's always good to see you guys. And I'll add something to your Shop Local.
Please do.
I wear 2 extra large shirts if anybody wants to go shopping. And Orson's got a lot of real nice ones. I'm just saying, Brian, if you'd like to go buy me one. Or
you know what? I bought, I think I may have been my first 2XL or XXL, the double XXL.
Yeah, men's size.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, do I want to be comfortable or do I want to keep kidding myself that I'm 30 pounds lighter than I am?
Yeah, age catches up.
I went with the double X, and and it's a great feeling, isn't it?
I'll tell you what isn't a great feeling is when you try to throw on a shirt like a medium or something, and then it looks like a halter top.
I've seen Brian wear those.
Yeah, he looks good.
He's sort of
By the way,
these are the visual jokes that we bring, to 102.7 FM, and I got a visual of that, Jim.
Okay,
appreciate that.
If you want to order your KPGZ halter top today, go to our website. And by the way, one quick thing. Let me get that out of your head for just a second, and then we'll come back to it. Okay. A lot of people have been trying to call the station. We know the phones are down here at the station, so we're supposed to have that fixed by tomorrow. Is that what you said?
So sorry.
They're working on it.
Sure.
We understand.
Sure.
We get it. We're working on it. We're going to have it fixed. So if you're trying to call and you're frustrated, so are we, but we're working on that. So anyway, Brian, do you have that picture of you in the halter top?
We're on Facebook Live, though, by the way, Jim. So
yes, okay.
If you have, and we'd love to get your comments while we've got Jay Bettis here with us today, and
type those comments.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell us some stories about him, because he's a little humble, and I know he won't tell some of the good ones. So, but Jay, I do know, as we mentioned earlier, 41 years. And it truly has been, for all practical purposes. You've worked here all your life here in Kearney.
Yeah, I have. It's the only job I've ever had. Really, I worked a couple of summers in high school, and this has been my life. The city of Kearney family is my family, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. I'm very, very fortunate to be able to say that I worked at one place for 41 and a half years. I mean, that doesn't happen very often.
Not anymore. And it says a lot about the employee, but it also says a ton about the employer.
Yeah.
And Kearney's a great place to be. We know that. It's a terrific culture. It's a very unique community, and I'm preaching to the choir, to the folks who are listening to me. But if you've ever lived any place else that has in a similar sized town, this place is just something special.
Mm-hmm.
I would ask you too. 41 years there's enough time that's gone by that you've seen some tremendous changes here in Kearney. What stands out in your mind as you started that first day 41 years ago up until now? What are some of the big changes that you notice?
Well, when I started there, you cross the railroad tracks going west, you was in the country.
Yeah,
right. the growth itself of the town has just been amazing. I remember they built the first building at the high school that is there now. They built a very small portion of it first. And I remember thinking, why are they building this so far out of town?
Right.
You know, it was basically in nowhere. Sammy Barr had that farm out there, and they built a school there. And I thought, man, we'll never see houses out here.
Right.
And now, you know, just growth everywhere.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I mean, I think the infrastructure though has done a nice job of keeping up with the growth. That's not a thing that happens by accident. I mean,
and it's tough.
Right.
It really is. The city fathers and all the mayors I've worked for, Jim Eldridge has always had been able to see in the future to try to keep us up, and it's tough. It is really, really tough, especially in the water and wastewater field. It's really tough trying to stay on top of that growth.
One of the things that you mentioned, and I think it's kind of fun because the younger people don't always realize, is when you said, you know, when Sammy Barr.
Yeah.
And there's so many streets in this town that are named after somebody.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But you just don't. I mean, the people who hear Sam Barr Drive, which is where our studio is located, they don't give any thought to there really was
a Sam Barr. There really was a
Sammy
Watson.
Barr.
There really was a Watson
right.
Drive.
And it's not Sue Watson, just so you know. What isn't that her name?
I don't know. Must be somebody else you're thinking of, Jay.
I'll be right back with you as soon as.
Dennis Watson. Is a good mayor. He was the first mayor I worked for, and
you know, has there ever been a push for a Mayor Dane Drive?
I haven't heard of that yet, but I would imagine
I'm sure there'll be one someday.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
He left such a big impact.
Yeah,
right.
Huge impact with me. He was my number one supporter when I got the position I have now of utilities director. Mayor, you know, I always called him Pops.
I remember you said that when he was in here. Yeah.
He was always a supporter for me and looked over some of my shortcomings, some of my, you know, my bad decisions. And he was always a supporter for me. And,
well, let's talk about that. Give us an example of one of your bad decisions.
No pressure.
Well, I've made plenty of them. There's a lot of times that I would make a decision. Well, I'll tell you one right now. One morning, about 2:00 in the morning, we had a pump station go out. The only option I had was signing off on a $20,000 pump to get that pump station going. And on hindsight, I probably should have called somebody and asked for permission to do that. But my main focus was, if I don't get this pump station going, we're going to flood the houses. Mm-hmm. So I went ahead and done it.
Right.
There's a lot of things like that. You have to react.
Right.
And I try to do it the proper way and go through the way I should. I don't think Jim thinks I do that as much as I should, but I do try it. I take my job very seriously, and I know that it's not my money I'm spending; it's the public's money, and I try to do things the best that I can.
You know, but one of the things that's I think has been so instrumental with the city of Kearney and its development and growth and in the positive direction is people like you who actually have done things, stepped up, done things for the betterment of the community when it's needed to be done, you know, having foresight and everything else. Kearney, I think, is one of the strongest developed communities that's grown, but it's grown properly. It hasn't outgrown itself, but it also continues to grow, but it's strong. It's got a good foundation. The only other community I would say, and it's really not the same, which is Liberty, has grown quite a bit, but Liberty, because of its proximity to the north side of Kansas City, had a different, it's a little bit different of a, you know, because people were able to live.
Geography, right.
It worked out with the highways and all that sort of thing. But Yeah, your work here in Kearney and, working with Jim and Mayor Dane and a lot of other people has really been instrumental in making the city what it is today. I mean,
well, we struggled at times because the growth has been really fast. I mean, you stop and think about just in the last 10 years, the number of houses and businesses that's been built, the growth has been really fast. And that's very challenging for a municipality to try to stay on top of. And I think the people in Kearney are very fortunate. We have a strong workforce. In my opinion, we have one of the best workforces in the state of Missouri as far as public works and operators, city hall, management. I mean, we're right there top notch. And I'll always think that. Over the years, I've talked to a lot of other people in other towns, and in position of mine.
Right.
And I know some of the struggles they go through. And we go through some struggles, but we don't go through the struggles like a lot of other towns. And the reason we don't is because we have people in key positions making decisions and seeing ahead far enough to try to stay on top of that. And Jim's always been phenomenal at that.
I think that's the trick is not so much, accommodating people, but being able to predict how many you're going to have to accommodate as the city grows.
Right. You've got to be proactive.
Right.
I mean, if you wait to react to crises that come along, then you're behind the game. And we've always been very proactive. We've done the studies to expand plants when we knew it was time. We've done road improvements when we knew those key road improvements need to be done, like Watson Drive.
Right.
We've set the groundwork for the new interchange to happen. That's going to change the dynamics of Kearney so much. It's just going to be.
Yeah, that I want to talk about
really
that.
Good. So
in a little bit too. And the other thing too, I noticed that the really cool thing about Kearney is I think all the different city departments. I mean, we see law enforcement, we see firefighters, all the emergency first responder types. We see the folks inside City Hall, folks like yourself who are driving around the town all day long. It's really one big family.
It is. We all
Yeah.
work good. We have a good relationship with everybody.
Right. We're going to let Jay get a drink of water, and that's Jay Bettis. He's with us today, retiring after 41 years with the city of Kearney. And you are listening to Kearney Live, and we've got Jay Bettis live with us. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Corporate underwriters of KPGZ programming include these fine businesses.
Simplify your banking, simplify your life. It's easy with Kearney Trust Company. The world has become fast-paced, and we understand that you are busy. That's why we offer a banking experience that's as simple and stress-free as can be. Kearney Trust goes beyond convenient locations and good customer care to offer banking services that make managing your finances quicker and easier than ever before. Online, bill pay, e-statements, and mobile banking are available to give you a positive banking experience so you can get back to your life and activities. Kearney Trust also provides capital to people and businesses so they can achieve their goals. Whether you know exactly what you want or just need someone to talk to about your dream, you can speak with them and work on that dream. You may just be getting off the ground or ready to move into your brick and mortar building. Kearney Trust will provide you and your business with the resources you need to succeed. Kearney Trust Company is your partner for success with 2 convenient locations in Kearney at 310 West 92 Highway and 701 Watson Drive in Price Chopper. The phone is 816-628-6666. Kearney Trust Company. Banking you can trust. Member FDIC.
And welcome back to Kearney Live. I'm your host, Mike Davis, along with Jim Dickerson, Brian Watts, our producer, engineer, general manager of 102.7 FM, And we have Jay Bettis in studio with us today, retiring from the city of Kearney, Missouri after 41 years. My goodness, a long time for anybody to be anywhere. Jay, we were talking about relationships off the air, relationships you've had with folks, many, many folks over the years from the city of Kearney, Missouri, the folks from all different departments throughout the city. And you had mentioned you had a story about one Dennis Watson. Tell me about that.
This is how I met Dennis Watson. We moved to Kearney when I was a sophomore in high school, or during the Christmas break. And I came from a school in Arkansas that had 12 kids in class. So when we came to Kearney, even in 75, I mean, I was like a fish out of water. I wasn't used to that type of a school. I sat in the study hall one day. I knew two people in town, David McIntyre, three, I guess, David and his mom and dad, the only people I knew in Kearney. So I'm sitting in the study hall, and the football coach was the study hall teacher. And guy walks in, he says, I want you, and you, come go with me. Well, I thought it was a teacher. I didn't know who it was. So we get up, we walk out of the school. Teacher near him looks up, walk out the front door, and he says, get in the back of his truck. So one of the guys that was with me was David Haley, who's become a friend.
Don't they teach you not to do that?
Yeah, well, this is a long time ago. So I asked David, I said, David, who is this? Is this a teacher? He said, nah. He said, it's Mayor Kearney. He said, just come on. So we get in the back of Dennis' truck. Well, back then they had the festival was on Washington Street. The carnival, everything was on Washington Street. So we go down there and we pick up trash. And we get done. He says, get back in the truck and I'll take you back to school. We go back to school. We walk into study hall. Teacher still didn't look up. I don't think anybody knew was gone. But that's how I met Dennis Watson.
That is something.
Now, kids.
Yeah. It was a long time ago.
Let's talk for just a second.
Right.
Please don't do that. And by the way, just to recap, remember when I couldn't remember Watson? I was trying to think of Jamie Sue Watson, and everybody was laughing at me. So, Jamie,
man.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I look like an idiot while I was trying to figure it out, but I'll be okay.
Jamie is a good friend of the show. She does a lot of things behind the scenes for us and some voiceover work, and we appreciate everything.
You know what she probably doesn't do?
Tolerate you.
Well, there's that. And then randomly getting in the back of a pickup with somebody.
I'm pretty sure of that. Yeah, not knowing them. Yeah, but I guess if your friends are doing it, yeah. You were that guy, and your mom says, what, are you going to do it just because your friend does it? You're going to jump off a cliff? Yeah. Yes, I'm that guy.
All I could think about during going back to the school was, if my mom finds out that I left school with somebody I don't even know, but Dennis became good friends with my mom and dad too.
How many people were in your graduating class?
Here?
Yeah.
I think about 120 maybe.
Okay. Wow. So that's quite a few.
Yeah, I was a fish out of water. And I still stay in touch with my old principal and stuff down in Arkansas where I grew up.
Uh-huh.
Last year 12 graduated. So it's not changing any.
Well, when Mike was in high school, there was like 2 in his class. Yeah,
but he didn't graduate.
Well, no.
He got kicked out of school, I heard, and there was like a junior or something.
Yeah.
And Brian, I know Brian didn't graduate.
Well, Mike was in a one-room schoolhouse because they had the horse. You should have seen it the day his horse got loose. It was the funniest thing.
Right, yeah.
I digress.
Yeah, you did. Indeed. Yes.
I derailed it again.
You do gress. I know, you talk about those relationships. I know you've worked with some of these folks over at Kearney, the city of Kearney, Missouri, for probably as long as you've been there, right? Are you the longest standing employee over there?
To my knowledge, nobody's ever worked 41 years there.
Wow.
The 2 gentlemen I started working with, Gary Lawson and Dick Ritter, have both passed, and kind of the same story with Gary Lawson. The first summer I was in town, I took a job mowing a teacher's yard while he was out of the country. And I was mowing that yard, and Gary Lawson come by. And he said, hey, are you the boy that moved up there by the water tower? There's the water tower where the fire station, and now there used to be a water tower there. And I said, yeah, well, Gary had coon hunting dogs, He said, you and your dad got coon dogs? I said, yeah. He said, you want a job this summer for the city? I said, sure. So that was the first time I worked for the city. And then Gary became a second dad to me. Him and my dad were good friends. And then shortly, right after I got out of high school, Dad retired and moved back to Arkansas. So Gary was like my
sort of stepdad,
stepdad, you know,
right.
And we stayed friends right up until the time he left. So I worked with him for a long time. I went to school with Jim. He's a couple years older than me. I don't think he knew me in school. I didn't pester him enough, but I've done a good job since he's been here, keeping him pestered. But, Dick Ritter, I worked with him for 27 years.
Yeah. Well, it goes by fast.
I learned a lot off of both of those guys.
Yeah.
You know, you wake up some morning and 41 years of your life is gone, and it's time to do something different.
You know, that's true. And I did want to get to the when you moved over from, it says you started as a general laborer right out of high school.
In the street department.
Right.
Started out in the street department. Worked there for a couple of years. At the time, the city was really small, and they didn't feel like they had enough money to budget for two people in the street department. Man. I transferred to the water department and worked there as labor, and then I was a plant operator and a chief plant operator, and water and sewer assistant superintendent, and water, sewer, and superintendent. And then here, I don't know how long ago, 8 or 9 years, maybe 7. I don't know when, but then I was promoted to utilities director. And I'll never forget, Mayor Dane was in a meeting, and he said, congratulations. He said, every problem in town is yours now.
Well, that's called passing the buck, I believe, isn't it? Yeah.
So I would not have been able to do the job without the support staff that I had.
Right.
You know, out in the field as well as in City Hall. Jim, the last 8 or 9 years since I've been in City Hall, you know, my office is right next to his. And we've formed a relationship that's stronger than it ever has been the whole time I worked there. Yeah. And I've got phenomenal chief operators, you know, on the street guy, and just all good people. They make me look good. It's not me. It's them.
You hired those people by and large, though, right?
Most of them.
Yeah. Well, that says at least something about your ability to judge character.
Yeah. Well, all of them I've hired aren't still here, but most of them.
Well, you got to know when to cut them loose too. I'm just saying.
No, we've got really, really good people.
Yeah.
Cities in good shape. Good shape. They're not going to miss me.
Now, you were also in law enforcement. You were.
I did. I worked for part-time for the police department.
Right here in Kearney.
Here in Kearney for 31 years. Same time I was working for the city, I'd done that at night and weekends.
So did you work
for 31 years?
Yeah, you got off work from the city, and then you went over and put a uniform on and patrolled right here locally. You were one of Kearney's finest.
I have, when I started on the police department, there was one full-time person, that's chief.
Wow.
So a lot of things have changed there too.
And what year was that?
1981.
81. Okay.
Wow. That doesn't sound that long ago.
No.
That's a clue. I'm giving away a little bit of my age if 81 doesn't sound that long ago. Yeah, but my goodness.
Yeah.
So you're driving around, assuming you're driving around in a patrol car by yourself then, right?
What do you mean assuming? Like, as opposed to what?
Yeah.
He was riding a horse around?
Oh, you remember those days,
I
don't
do.
you?
Yeah. Well, I did do that, didn't I, Brian? Was you working at the Lake Brian there? I'd done horse patrol.
Yeah, for those that don't know, Brian was.
a couple times, yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were there then.
And so Brian Watts was a park ranger with Clay County. And you worked with Jay Bettis.
Yep, way back when.
Yeah.
So do you have any stories?
Did you ride a horse, Brian?
No, I didn't ride a horse. Jay wouldn't let me on the horse.
Oh, okay.
Did you guys have a horse?
Yeah. Yeah, I've done, I used, Gary Shanks had a horse, and I talked Gary Shanks into let me borrow him one summer, and I patrolled over there on horseback.
Outstanding.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. I don't know why Brian didn't ride him. I think Brian was afraid of horses or something. I don't remember now, but
I was just an intern at the time. They didn't let us do anything but close the gates.
yeah.
No,
But he was good at that.
Yes,
He was really good at closing the gate.
we're talking about Smithville Lake,
Smithville Lake, Clay
Right.
County Parks.
What are some of the calls that you guys had? What could possibly go wrong in the summer around a lake?
Well, in 1990, when was you there, Brian?
It would have been 90. Oh boy.
92?
No, that was high school. So it would have been 96 or 7.
Yeah.
Before this will make you sound old. Before the turn of the
Wait a
century.
second. Did
everybody
you
else
just
just
say
be
you were
quiet.
in high school in 92?
That's when I graduated.
Oh, good
Yes.
gravy.
We are
I know.
old. We are that old.
Class of 92 rules, man.
right.
Yeah, way to go.
Yeah.
So I seem to remember, though, that, Brian, you said most of the calls were, imagine this, drunk people.
Yes.
Yes.
Drunk people.
How much fun is that?
Drunks and drugs.
Good grief.
And, you get 1,100, I think it's 1,100 campsites over there.
Wow.
And you get those full on a holiday weekend. And there was only one commissioned ranger at a time. We had interns during the summer, but if Clay County was busy and couldn't come to help you, or Smithville couldn't come to help you, it got kind of scary sometimes.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I enjoyed it. I've done that for 9 years, and I have no regrets at all. I enjoyed every minute of it.
Right. So you were a park ranger the same time you were working with the
City and police. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. You were busy.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. We appreciate your service. I mean, that's a neat thing, and we love the law enforcement folks up here. We met quite a few of them here recently, and
Good folks.
Absolutely are.
Phenomenal police department here in this town.
yeah, and it's good to see. As again, I think that's another aspect of the city that you've got to consider. Clearly we're, I don't think. I mean, obviously, if we had to, we can call on Clay County Sheriff's Department, but it's nice to know that you can call if you don't have real 911 type emergency.
Yeah.
That there are people around that could probably help you out if you needed it here. Why law enforcement? I'm curious. Was it just because of the job, or it was something you wanted to do?
Well, at the time, I thought maybe that's what I wanted to do.
Oh, I see.
The chief we had at that time, his name was Lloyd Roberts, and Lloyd just approached me once, said, I think you'll try this. And I didn't ever pursue doing it full time.
Yeah.
I guess the public works and water and stuff was always in my system.
Yeah.
I worked part time at the fire station too for a while, and was an EMT, and
You've kind of seen a little bit of everything.
yeah, and it never presented itself for me to do that as a career. So that always told me that I wasn't meant to do that as a career.
I see.
So I enjoyed all of it. I enjoyed every bit of it.
Yeah.
The interns at the lake were always a challenge. Some of them more than others, Brian. But
That's not true.
I enjoyed everything. I've enjoyed my life. I've had a very, very blessed life.
Right.
In a lot of aspects.
It shows. And of course, you raised a family here, which is that says a lot.
Yeah, I've got 2 older sons. One of them's a firefighter. The other one's an Army veteran, and now I've got a little guy, 9 years old. He's just he's been a blessing beyond belief. I'm very blessed. I've got a wonderful wife, very supporting, and your family members and your good friends is what make you look good as a person, I feel, and I've been blessed,
Right.
to have all that.
Yeah.
And
It's just
I can spend the rest of my life just thinking about all the people and all the things I've got to do, and
no doubt about
I
it.
wish I would have done a better job with Brian, but that's beyond being able to do anything.
We can relate to that.
So do we.
Yeah.
Because now, but I'll tell you what, when it comes to shutting these doors at night, I mean, it's done right.
Well, I taught him that from shutting gates.
Yeah, that's what, because he gets the latch all lined up and
so
stuff.
I guess I did do a good job with you.
Well,
Nice
he knows
job.
one thing. He knows one thing. Brian knows is quitting time. Yep, it's quitting time, and he's gone. Yeah. We're talking today with Jay Bettis, 41 years with the city of Kearney, Missouri, and a great guy, and raised a family here in Kearney. And most of you know this man, and I know I do, and I'm glad I do. Stay with us. You're listening to Kearney Live.
Say thank you to these local businesses who support KPGZ.
Simplify your banking, simplify your life. It's easy with Kearney Trust Company. The world has become fast-paced, and we understand that you are busy. That's why we offer a banking experience that's as simple and stress-free as can be. Kearney Trust goes beyond convenient locations and good customer care to offer banking services that make managing your finances quicker and easier than ever before. Online, bill pay, e-statements, and mobile banking are available to give you a positive banking experience so you can get back to your life and activities. Kearney Trust also provides capital to people and businesses so they can achieve their goals. Whether you know exactly what you want or just need someone to talk to about your dream, you can speak with them and work on that dream. You may just be getting off the ground or ready to move into your brick and mortar building. Kearney Trust will provide you and your business with the resources you need to succeed. Kearney Trust Company is your partner for success with 2 convenient locations in Kearney at 310 West 92 Highway and 701 Watson Drive in Price Chopper. The phone is 816-628-6666. Kearney Trust Company. Banking you can trust. Member FDIC.
And there we are, and welcome back to Kearney Live. We are visiting today with Jay Bettis. He's been with the city of Kearney for 41 years. It's a long time to do anything. And if you want to celebrate Jay's retirement, Jim, do you want to celebrate Jay's retirement?
You know I do.
I do too. And you know how to do that. That would be on Friday between 3 and 6 p.m. Come and celebrate with refreshments and fellowship at the City Hall. And I'm sure there might be 1 or 2 people over there.
Why do I get the feeling that event will not officially end at 6?
Something tells me that this town knows how to put on a party.
I don't think it'll be any problem with being done by 6. I don't know. I'd be surprised.
You gotta, be in bed by 6:30?
I don't think there'll be. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, if it spreads out into the street, then we'll know we've got trouble. So we'll see. We'll make sure that law enforcement is aware. That,
we'll make sure that Brian closes the door behind you.
Absolutely.
And the gates.
Yeah, Brian, you're in charge of closing up City Hall that night.
Good. So 3 to 6 on Friday. In all seriousness, if we can be, and I doubt it, but we do our best to be serious around here. But 3 to 6 p.m. over at City Hall. Celebrate Jay Bettis' retirement. 41 years. I don't know. What's 41 years feel like doing, working at the same place? What's that feel like? I have no idea. I've never done it.
I've thought a lot in the last couple of months about that.
Yeah.
It's almost as second nature as putting on my boots every morning. I mean, it's just, get up and go to City Hall or go to Kearney and do what needs to be done. I don't think it's really hit me.
Did you ever do any team building activities over there at City Hall?
We have some massive team building moments in City Hall, Mike.
Please continue.
Right? Yeah.
No, it's pretty. I would call it a family.
Right.
We when we lose somebody, we all feel that loss, Right. I've lost my father-in-law and my dad in the last couple of years,
right.
and Jim, Jim's lost his father. I mean, we feel that for each other, and we're always there for each other.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. We're always there for each other.
Well, it is. Those relationships, as much time as anybody spends at work, you do, whether you like it or not, you're building a relationship with somebody, and it's always a good thing if it's a good relationship.
Yeah.
We've been around those.
Well, I've had a good one. I've had a good one. Very supportive. Everybody that I've ever worked with.
Yeah. How about that new mayor, though? That Randy Pogue guy. What about him?
Well, I've known Randy all of his life. Of course, I've known everybody all their life. As old as I am, there's not very many people I haven't. But I've known Randy all of his life. Randy's got some really good vision. He's going to do some good things for Kearney.
We don't have any doubt about that.
There's going to be some good things for Kearney.
Big friend of the show. And
tell us something about Randy we don't know.
Oh, there you go.
Well, I'll tell you something. I had a Explorer post with the police department for several years. Randy was one of my founding Explorer Post members.
How about that?
I guess that's about all I could probably say in there.
Okay, what I do here's Randy Pogue.
That's all I got to say about
Randy
that.
may potentially have the longest resume. I mean, I think he's got a 10-page resume because I know he's done a ton of stuff.
He has, and Randy's. I had contact with him as a young guy, just like I did Brian.
Yeah,
and then life happens, and you go separate ways,
Sure.
and then at some point in your life you reunite, and but Randy's going to be a phenomenal mayor. He's going to do good things.
No doubt about that. We we were sure glad to see him get elected, and other good candidates, no doubt. But he just seemed like he was a good fit.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about Randy. Randy cares about the people that work for the city of Kearney.
Mm-hmm.
He cares about the employees, and that's a big deal. It's a big deal when you're on. When you're out in the middle of the night on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, plowing snow or fixing a water leak, it's good to know that you have somebody that really appreciates what you're doing.
Right.
Randy's one of those type of mayors.
Yeah.
He cares about his employees. So.
Yeah. Well, shout out to him. And
Don't forget, Randy's the mayor that when it was raining earlier this year, and there was a storm drain that was somewhat clogged up, he stopped, got out of his truck, unclogged it, I guess leaves and stuff or whatever was in there, unclogged it so the road wouldn't be flooded anymore. Yeah. Somebody
driving an F-150.
Driving a black F-150,
right.
If I recall, drove by and let's just say got him a little wet.
I heard about that.
Left a wake like you'd see behind a slalom skier.
Exactly.
And absolutely covered him in water. We were thinking it was his wife.
Well,
she denies it.
Well, I don't know who it was, but just for the record, I have a white dually. Okay, so
you have to wonder if it was somebody he knew.
Well,
was it a prank?
I don't know. I don't know.
Or somebody
I've had that happen to me, and it's been people I've known. So,
that's the thing. And it's generally somebody you like that's going to do something like that too.
Yeah.
Think, this will be funny. Yeah, to
you.
You
like them up till that moment,
right? Mm. Yeah, funny to you, maybe. Yeah, not so much to me when it's cold. Well, we were talking about you talk about the future of Kearney, and we look at the overpass that, which, by the way, you want to see what that overpass is going to look like? Drive across 152 and I-35, and you get to see pretty much what that thing's going to look like and how it's going to work. Works just great. I think right now, when I try to imagine what that infrastructure will look like down there, where it still looks kind of wild south of the city here, how's that going to change this town? I know you've got a little bit of vision on that.
It's going to change. All four corners of that new interchange someday will be built out.
Right.
The west side of town is going to grow a lot because of that, because people have been able to jump off and go to a residence on the west side of town.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably one of the biggest things since I've worked here that I've seen take place that's going to change the city the most. And it's going to change. It's going to change the city.
So the growth will be west of town primarily. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that area right there around the four corners of that, obviously will be will grow too.
Yeah, and I guess in typical fashion, that an interstate exchange will, the same kinds of, for lack of a better analysis, quick trip type, convenience stores, gas stations.
As you mentioned, you look at I-35 and 152.
Right.
That's what that'll be someday.
Yeah. Wow.
So that'd be good for Kearney.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of not only for the jobs, but for the tax revenue. I mean, everything. It's going to be good for Kearney.
Right. Yeah. Not to mention the safety factor that you're just not going to have traffic slowing down and building up and frankly stopping at times up on I-35.
There's been a lot of work going into that.
Mm-hmm.
Jim and David Pavlich, probably more than anybody, has spent countless hours getting that thing put together and working with MoDOT, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing for Kearney.
I think it is. When I think we were just getting started up here in Kearney with the radio station when Mayor Dane was in here talking about it, and we were able to have some of the city engineers, the folks you're talking about in here, really help us to kind of get a vision of what this thing was going to be. And then I remember looking at the blueprints of this thing, and when you look at it from the top, it just looks like roads crisscrossing in front of one another. I'm thinking, how do you stay out of an accident when I saw how this thing works? But when you get down there, and I'm pretty sure anybody from in earshot has driven across the one at 152.
Really smooth.
It is amazing. Yeah. I mean, you rarely see much backup at all over on 152, and that was unheard of.
Like you was mentioning Mayor Dane, the only time I've seen him speechless was when he was on your radio show. And you remember him asking me?
Yes.
You remember him asking me how much money we spent on roads this year?
I do.
And I told him about $150,000 more than he told me to.
Yeah, over budget. Right. Yeah. And he didn't blink an eye when you did that.
No, but he was quiet for a couple of minutes, and that was really hard to catch him or get on him like that.
Yes. What a great guy, and what a just a guy just larger than life. But I think I met you just about the same time that I met him. But and for those that don't know, I mean, just this very show, this program was really because of Mayor Dane. I mean, Brian and I approached him after a Chamber of Commerce meeting and said, "You want to be on the radio with us?" And the next thing you know, he had helped us secure a sponsorship from Kearney Trust, who's the flagship sponsor of the program, and helped us really get this thing kicked off. And
it used to be called Live with the Mayor.
Absolutely,
was the original when it was Mayor Dane. I think we were going to call it the Mayor Dane Show at one time, and then
that seemed too easy.
Yeah,
we needed to complicate it.
But it was his show.
But it truly was, and the format really hasn't changed that much. But I tell you, and it doesn't. There's rarely a day that goes by that if we're up here, and especially on this program, that we don't think about Mayor Dane, and we've got a studio here right here at the radio station that we've named after him. It's the Mayor Bill Dane Studio.
I think it pops a lot.
Yeah, good guy.
So before we head out, and I'll give you some time if you need to think about it, but we need the funniest thing that you can think of that happened. If it involves Brian, there's bonus points. If it involves Mayor Pogue, there's extra bonus points.
Well, I would have to think about that.
So while he's thinking, we'll talk about, are you done yet?
No, that's going to take some thought. I mean, I know a lot of stuff on Brian, but I want to, everybody doesn't need to know the things I know about Brian, so I don't want to pick on him.
Oh, mercy.
I don't know. I've done a lot of, Gary Lawson and
you know you're going to walk out of here, and 2 minutes later you're going to go,
I should have told that story.
I forgot about that.
Right.
Yeah. Well,
but go ahead.
The other thing you got to remember, I don't officially retire until the last day of this month. Okay,
so we want to make sure that you go out in good terms. Yeah, absolutely.
No, over the years, when I first started, we didn't have a lot of things that we have today, like good trucks or stuff. I mean, Gary and I, the first dump truck we ever had, there's a metal 5-gallon bucket in it, and would build a fire to have heat because the old truck didn't have no heat. Gary and I went to Iowa and got the first snow plow that the city ever owned.
How about that?
And somewhere, Jim might have a picture of that dump truck and snowplow going down Washington Street with the backhoe hooked onto it because the wheels fell off, and we had to take it down to Jonesy's to get it repaired. And there's been a lot of things, a lot of stuff like that, and I tell the guys that work for me now, they're really lucky.
Yeah.
Because we have good equipment. The city fathers have really pushed that. We have good equipment. We have stuff to do our job with.
Right.
And there was a time when we didn't. I mean, we would borrow stuff to do our job.
Yeah.
And so from that aspect, things have changed a lot.
Well, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
I would think. But, it
would be hard for us to maintain 160 miles of road lane. That's about what we got in town. There's no way we could have done it with the equipment we had when I started.
Yeah.
So we're lucky, I mean, you can get on Facebook and see that there's somebody not happy with us all the time. I don't look at Facebook a lot, but
haters are going to hate.
Yeah. But we do a good job. I'll stand up before anybody and tell the people that the Kearney crew in whatever aspect it is, they do a phenomenal job.
No doubt about it. And just super congratulations to you, Jay. We appreciate you and everything that you've done with your long 41 years at the city, which probably doesn't feel like that long of a time, I'm sure.
No, it doesn't. But I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I've been very fortunate.
No doubt about it. Thanks again for being with us today. And by the way, if you want to, in fact, we would encourage you to show up at between 3 and 6 over at City Hall. That's on this Friday. And shake hands with Jay Bettis, and I bet you he's got a funny story he'll remember. And just ask him.
I'll remember one on Brian.
There you go. Thanks so much for being with us today. You've been listening to Kearney Live. We'll see you next week.